Okay, so I'm gonna start this video a little bit different. I'm gonna make a small announcement that's really just for fans of my videos. If you watch me regularly, you'll want to pay attention for the next part. If you're someone who's watching my videos for the first time, I'll leave up like a little time code or something in the video right here for you to skip to. But to anyone who watches me regularly, this is important. I wouldn't be interrupting a review if it wasn't. So I wanted like a way to reach my fans and kind of create a small community and whatnot, but YouTube can be pretty restricting and it's annoying to try and get updates out. Because if I ever want to do it, I have to make a video, when a video really shouldn't be necessary. And a lot of times, people will just skip the update videos. Although the main reason that I'm doing this is because I fucking despise YouTube's community. Not you fans, just the community as a whole on YouTube. You know, you got like your 13% of people that are cool, but then the other 87% are just like fucking animals, and it makes me sick. YouTube and Google have done so much just to rip apart this community and make actually having an intelligent conversation impossible. I mean, they removed video responses for no fucking reason, the comments require Google Plus and are horrendously broken since you can put links to the comments and comments are upvoted on the amount of responses they get. Blocking someone is completely useless because all they have to do is make another Google Plus account. The whole thing is just a mess. I honestly just want to turn my comments off, but I don't want to shut people out who like genuinely care about my videos. So YouTube comments will stay on for now, but I won't be responding to YouTube comments anymore. So I made an official Facebook fan page. From now on, this Facebook page will be where I operate. I'll still look at my YouTube comments on occasion, but I won't be responding to my YouTube comments anymore. Also, if you want to contact me, whether it is just to show me something that you've done or whatever, this Facebook page is the best place to do it. A lot of people have messaged me in my YouTube inbox, and I feel kind of sorry for them since I never check this thing, and I never will. Also, if you decide you don't want to go to the Facebook page, don't be a cunt and leave comments describing why you won't join the page or how you feel so much smarter than the entire Facebook community. I don't care, just ignore the page then, and don't comment about it because that's annoying. This will also be the place where I do a lot of updates and whatnot, so don't go in my comments saying, "Stimpy, you should review this," or "What's your next review, Stimpy?" because there's a likely chance I've already hinted at what the next review will be, or you can just ask me about a game you want me to review there. I'll try as hard as I can to respond to your messages and whatnot on the Facebook page as often as possible. But keep in mind I'm only human, so I'm sorry if I don't respond to every single little post, but I will try. Yes, I know it's restricting, but that's also kind of the point, since I've had it up to here with reading 43-line essays about how I just suck at this certain game and that's why I think it's bad, or how everything I say is irrelevant because I'm ugly or something like that. I've heard it so many goddamn times that it's not even offensive, because I really don't care what people have to say over the internet, and it's just come to a point where it's just an annoyance. It's not even really offensive anymore. And I apologize to all of you that can't make a Facebook page or won't make a Facebook page, but this is the way it's going to be. I am fucking done with YouTube and Google Plus and this stupid bullshit. I strongly recommend commenting on my Facebook page instead of my regular YouTube page from now on, because I just deleted my Google Plus account and I didn't really, bat an eyelash, so my phone is ringing! Also, this art you're seeing is made by a badass fan named Finn Kennedy. You can check out more of his work on his YouTube channel and his DeviantArt, both of which are listed in the description. So on that very positive note, let's start the review. Cue the intro.
I am TheStimpyland, traveling into parts unknown. Now come with me. Join me on my journey to do things. Away I go!
So in case you missed the last entry in this little trilogy of reviews, the last game was badass. Battle for Bikini Bottom was a fucking fantastic 3D platformer that featured all of your favorite characters from the show, but in a game. A big appeal to this game was being able to explore the locations from the show, so I was a bit disappointed to find out that the next game after Battle for Bikini Bottom was a tie-in with the Spongebob movie. I don't really like the Spongebob movie that much. It just didn't hit me in the same way the show does. I did enjoy the Spongebob movie when I first saw it, but looking back on it now, I just don't think it's that funny. The classic SpongeBob episodes are just as great as they were back in 2002 or whenever the fuck, but the SpongeBob movie feels a bit dated. Or maybe it's just that the SpongeBob movie feels like it was targeted specifically toward kids, something that classic SpongeBob wasn't. But I'm getting a bit off topic here. We're not talking about the movie, but the game it is based on, so let's get to that. The SpongeBob movie game was published by THQ and developed by Heavy Iron Studios, the same company that made the last game, Battle for Bikini Bottom. And I loved the shit out of Battle for Bikini Bottom, so it's nice to see that Heavy Iron stuck around. This is a game that I found just difficult to like. I mean, I remember liking it when I was little, but revisiting it now, it's just not nearly as fun as I remember. And while playing this game again, I think I found the answer. What might just be this game's biggest flaw is the fact that it is based on the SpongeBob movie, and keep in mind, this isn't a stab at the SpongeBob movie. See, with other two games in the series, they had their own stories. They could just make up a story, and that gave them tons of creativity to play with. All of the memorable locations from the show that were filled to the brim with character and personality were now interactive and explorable. This was a huge draw for these games. Being able to explore the dark corners of Rock Bottom or the serenity of Jellyfish Fields was the coolest fucking thing for a kid. Also, because these areas were so distinct and different from one another, they stood out and were very memorable. Half of the appeal of these games was the exploration, and now that is completely gone in this game. This game is basing itself off an already existing story, which is its biggest problem by far. See, Battle for Bikini Bottom had 2 whole seasons of fantastic content as a template. This game, on the other hand, had a mildly above average 2-hour movie to use as a template. A lot of the game looks the same, a lot of the levels just kind of blend in with each other, and it feels stale. The levels don't feel properly connected. Oh, that is something I have to bring up. This game is linear and straightforward instead of free roaming, meaning that there is a set order to play the levels in. There is no hub world, but instead the levels are accessed through a menu. Between levels we get cutscenes that explain the story. But guess what? They're FMVs. Oh wait, even better, they're slideshow FMVs with expository voiceovers. Yay! This game needs to explain to you why you're going to each level, and it's pretty bad. I mean, Jesus, look at how bad some of these FMVs look. You can clearly tell what was a screenshot from the movie, what was just copy and paste clip art, and what was actually drawn. Oh my god, David Hasselhoff, what did they do to you? I would often just skip these since they were dreadfully boring and just plain ugly. And when I did this, I missed huge chunks of the story. If you take out these FMVs, you'll just find that SpongeBob and Patrick just sort of teleport to different places with no explanation. It's actually pretty hilarious. One minute they're running around in a swamp, the next they're riding on a crown on floating wires, then the next they're fighting a guy on another guy's back, and the levels aren't the least bit coherent at all. It's pretty ridiculous and hilarious. Although just because the FMVs are ugly doesn't necessarily make the levels ugly. Oh my god, this game is otherwise beautiful. Ugly FMVs aside, this game looks great. In fact, now that I really think about it, the entire presentation of this game is great outside of those shitty FMVs. While some of the levels look generic, you can tell that in others, Heavy Iron went all out. The best level in terms of aesthetics, and my opinion, is the level Now That We're Men. Look at how fucking sickeningly dark this level is. Just the outlandish designs of the monsters, the eerie dark settings, and the music. That is another strength of this game. Like Battle for Bikini Bottom, this game is accompanied by a great soundtrack, only this time it wasn't quite as memorable. Pretty much all of the music fits the levels, and a lot of it is really jazzy and catchy, but remember that since a lot of the levels look the same, the respective soundtracks sound the same. And since the game isn't really memorable, the soundtrack doesn't come back to me a whole lot, or not in the same way Battle for Bikini Bottoms did at least. The gameplay has tons of positive sides, but also quite a few negative sides as well. The controls are carried over from Battle for Bikini Bottom, meaning that they are just as tight as ever. Movement is sharp, jumps are precise, attacking is fluent and doesn't break up the action, and it all allows for fun combat and smooth platforming. You control only 2 characters in this game. Sorry, Sandy. And each of them have unique powers. You can unlock powers by giving Goofy Goober tokens to Mindy. Who is that again? All these powers are really cool, and unlocking them feels rewarding, but all of the powers, with the exception of one, are just recycled from Battle for Bikini Bottom. A lot of the powers you unlock in this game you already had from the start in Battle for Bikini Bottom. Although I do have to say, something interesting about these powers is that, unlike Battle for Bikini Bottom, these powers can be upgraded. By collecting enough of these weights, you'll get upgrade points, which can be spent on new upgrades for your powers. These upgrades are incredibly useful, and add some great variety as it allows you to adapt the game more towards your style. Example of these upgrades includes allowing your spin to send projectiles back at enemies, increasing the radius of your bubble bowl, or just giving you more health. Although the game usually doesn't seem to supply you with what is the adequate amount of points on your regular playthrough, meaning you'll have to grind a lot. It gets annoying quickly. Your basic run-of-the-mill levels play pretty damn well. I thoroughly enjoyed the basic levels of this game. Spongebob and Patrick were both very fun to play as. I enjoyed the different abilities they had, and the upgrades that they had were great to play around with. I also loved how challenging this game was. Yes, contrary to popular opinion, I actually really like challenging games, provided it's reasonable. This game turned out to be quite difficult. Even though I was a pretty damn good Battle for Bikini Bottom player, I still found myself having tons of trouble with the SpongeBob movie game. This game's challenge reminds me very much of Ratchet & Clank's or Spyro 2's, right up to the cusp of challenging and reasonable, but not crossing the line and being outright ridiculous or just poorly controlled. This game was almost completely justified in its difficulty, and for that I applaud Heavy Iron for doing such a fucking great job on a movie licensed title. But at the same time, there was a multitude of parts of this game I didn't like. They would be, you guessed it, vehicle levels. My grudge with these vehicles aren't actually the vehicles themselves, but rather the fact that the levels don't feel designed to compensate. First, there are slides where SpongeBob and Patrick will get together in a shell or a crown or a bathtub. Did I forget that part of the movie? The slides are quite fun for about a minute, but then you still got about an extra 20. These slides will go on for 4 or 5 minutes at a time, and they are way too long. Some of these tasks involve you jumping through rings. Say you're 4 minutes and 20 seconds into a ring challenge and you miss a ring, you have to do it all over again. There is nothing fucking fun at all about playing long levels over and over again. Speaking of tedious and annoying gameplay, there's also the Paddy Wagon. I really didn't care for this thing. The controls were pretty tight, yeah, but it felt too slow. It felt like it was too difficult to really gain and keep any sort of high speed when you're not using these little nitro boosters. If you tried to turn in the slightest direction, you would lose practically half of your speed. It's confusing me! Some of these tasks are also just really stupid. Hell, the entire way you progress through the game just feels crappy. In the game you have to collect Goofy Goober tokens, which are already weird on its own, but to progress you need to give these tokens to Mindy the Mermaid in exchange for the new powers which you need to continue through the levels. However, there are also certain minigames you can play, and after completing these minigames, you get tokens from Mindy. Getting these tokens doesn't feel that rewarding since there's like no fucking reason to do half of these missions. It doesn't feel like you're progressing through the story, but instead just doing asinine stupid tasks that ultimately don't feel like they get you anywhere. The whole way the game connected just feels kinda unnatural. It doesn't even feel like a standalone game, but more just the SpongeBob movie mod for Battle for Bikini Bottom. Does this game hold up today? You know, this game I was really on the fence about. Revenge of the Flying Dutchman ultimately didn't, Battle for Bikini Bottom ultimately did, but I'm really down the middle on this one. There's a lot of shit I like in this game, and there's a lot of shit I also don't like. I love the upgrades for SpongeBob and Patrick, I love some of the combat and the platforming, and I really like the challenge, and the levels looked and sounded fantastic. At the same time, I hated how much of the game looked the same. I hated the stupid vehicles or how dreadfully long their levels could be. I hated the shitty FMVs, and I hated the absurd tasks. So I ask again, does this game hold up today? While I don't personally like this game that much, I will say yes, it does. Because this game was so surprisingly challenging and because it was pretty damn good for a fucking movie licensed video game, I say yes, this game does hold up. Now for my final words on this little SpongeBob trilogy. I think the best game of this series was Battle for Bikini Bottom. Fantastic levels, music, cutscenes, bosses' abilities, playable characters, and so much more. This game was just fucking outstanding, and it was just as legendary as the show it was based on. A runner-up would be the SpongeBob movie game. This game doesn't really feel like a game dedicated to the SpongeBob movie, but rather a SpongeBob movie mod for Battle for Bikini Bottom. This game was pretty on and off with its positives and negatives, but by the end, the positives pulled through. It's challenging, the upgrade system is awesome, the levels of music kick serious ass, and also, it's a movie-licensed video game. For a game based on a movie, it's pretty damn good. Because, again, movie-licensed video games generally don't turn out very good, so this game makes a pleasant surprise in that regard. Then last, and unfortunately also least, is Revenge of the Flying Dutchman. This game captured the charm and personality of the show so well, much better than the movie game ever did, but while the movie game's gameplay pulled through, this game's gameplay didn't. At all. The music is repetitive, the costumes are generic, the models look pretty bad, and it's also just pretty damn short. Now, I know there are plenty of other SpongeBob games out there, and I will definitely come back to review some of them. Super Sponge, Creature from the Krusty Krab, and Lights Camera Pants are all on my wish list of games I'd like to eventually review. But for right now, I want to take a break from Spongebob. Do not worry, I promise that this video will not be the last of Spongebob you see on this channel. But I want to take a break, so yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.